Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programas offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Műsoraink sok nyelvet tartalmaznak. Kérjük, tekintse meg itt suprememastertv.com/schedule.
You should know that regardless of the way in which people manifest themselves, it is all for the glory of God. Your mistakes and omissions represent opportunities for the elevation of beings that are more advanced than you. When you make a certain error, these beings that are invisible for you will use this error for the formation of a great virtue. However, mistakes should not be made on purpose. Please continue watching for the teachings of the Universal White Brotherhood by Master Ben Saduno.
Labas, noble viewers. Labas means hello in Lithuanian. I'm Matis. The positive people of Lithuania thank heaven for having such considerate and compassionate friends like you. May God keep you safe. The spiritual lineage of the Universal White Brotherhood was founded by Master Ben Saduno, also known as Peter Constantino Duno of Bulgaria in 1897. Master Ben Saduno taught that the qualities of humility, obedience, honesty, goodness, intelligence, and nobility are foremost in spiritual practice. He explained that one should walk the path of love, wisdom, and truth. The Universal White Brotherhood believes that God is in everything, in the stones, the plants, the water, the air, the animals, and the light. Following the principle of ahimsa or non-violence, Master Ben Saduno practiced and preached a vegetarian diet. The master was also an accomplished musician and composer of many spiritual songs and compositions. Today, we present to you the sacred teachings of the Universal White Brotherhood with an excerpt from Master Ben Saduno's lecture entitled For the Glory of God. The Master discusses the primordial manifestations of life coming from the flow of the Divine Spirit. For the Glory of God. In summary, I will discuss one basic thought, that is, what is the true manifestation of life? How can the words, the glory of God, be interpreted? Glory can be explained only through the law of wisdom or knowledge. Science reveals the glory of God, but when people acquire knowledge, they do not use it for the glory of God. They use knowledge for their own glory, and as a consequence, disharmony appears. I examine people as separate units. For each unit, there are two possibilities in life, to take the right way or to make a swear from that way. So every soul as a separate unit has the possibility to expand and to contract. The esoteric science explains this phenomenon in several ways. The Western occultists explain it with the so-called thermal ether. Ether means that from which things are born and fostered. The particle A is the primary beginning from which things are born. There is what fosters things on Earth. Ether is not a thick matter. Thermal ether that is the primary energy which started acting, has a connection with love. Consequently, love reveals itself in the primary manifestation of life. That is when the thermal ether became effective in the matter. Hence, life manifests itself through warmth. When warmth appeared, the flow of life started its descent to the earth to organize it. It is said in the Bible, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 to 3. This flow is the divine spirit who comes down to organize things. At your present state of development, you have to understand the law of the thermal ether. It is a movement from the outside to the inside. When we say that we have to love other people, we get the idea of the thermal ether coming from the outside. People demand our love. Someone wants to love you and to be loved by you. Why? This is a kind of energy in nature that strives to manifest itself. When you do not understand the law, you distort things. When a spring wants to reveal itself, what should it do? It should spring out. When water springs from it, the spring reveals itself. This happens with people too. When an angel loves a person, you will see an emanation coming from this angel. What the angel emits is liquid, while your love is denser. When you love someone, you also emit something. If at this moment an angel returning from a long journey sees you, he will say, "I will rest at this spring." The angel will fill his cup with some of your water and will be able to determine correctly whether your spring is good or not. When people love each other in the physical world, there are purely physical displays among them. It is not like that in the invisible world. There, love is a spring. These are abstract concepts for you. You simply say, "These people love each other." Yes, that is right. You should know, however, that life corresponds to the thermal ether, and if you cannot receive this stimulus from outside, then life cannot manifest itself in you. Life, which comes from within, is a display of the thermal ether. When life manifests itself, your life-giving ether will be in the center of the earth. The life-giving ether is what creates. To reveal this life, first a wave has to come from outside. When I talk of the earth, you resemble it. That is why this thermal ether has to come to you by all means, as an external stimulus to arouse your heart to action. Sometimes you want to love. Thus, when you adopt one external stimulus within yourself, another impetus should spring out from the center of your heart for life to manifest itself. Consequently, everyone who wants to live will interact with the solid matter. Everyone who wants to love will interact with the solid matter. People who cannot work with the solid matter cannot live. In this respect, from the point of view of life, instances of suffering are stones through which you will build your future. After that, light, which is equally necessary to life, comes. It is also a flow that is called light ether. All these external manifestations of life have their own form. Warmth creates certain forms in people. Light also creates certain forms. Life has certain forms as well. Every flow creates its own particular forms. The warmth and light of the sun have a big impact first on the religious state of people as well as on science. You shall strive to preserve this warmth and light within yourselves. You shall never lose the small warmth that you have in the solar plexus. This warmth should always exist in you. It is necessary to you. If you have this warmth, you are invulnerable. No one can harm you. However, if you lose this warmth, the biggest misfortunes may come upon you. Storms, catastrophes. They can destroy you entirely, so that nothing will remain from you. If you keep this warmth in you, light will eventually come. When light comes, it bestows knowledge on people. Thus, the light ether has an impact on the brain. The thermal ether has an impact on the heart. A number of chemical processes take place in the human heart directed from the inside to the outside. They determine in which way a person will manifest oneself. Do not be held back by the different manifestations of human life. The outside world may be held back, but not you. You should know that regardless of the way in which people manifest themselves, it is all for the glory of God. Your mistakes and omissions represent opportunities for the elevation of beings that are more advanced than you. When you make a certain error, these beings that are invisible for you will use this error for the formation of a great virtue. Everything in the world is created in such a way that these conscious beings will use every error of yours to create a new virtue. Now, be aware of saying, if everything is for good, let us make mistakes. No, that is not right. When you have unconsciously made a mistake or an omission, then I say that you should not be sorry for it. This mistake of yours will be used by another being for something good. You should know that as long as you are on earth, you will make mistakes. They are inevitable. However, mistakes should not be made on purpose. Warm-hearted viewers, we thank you for being with us for today's Words of Wisdom. Please join us again tomorrow for part 2 of From the Sacred Text of the Universal White Brotherhood for the Glory of God, Segment 1. Coming up next is Discovering the Creation of the Universe and the Divine. Interview with Dr. Alan Lightman, part 2 of 3, right after noteworthy news. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for more inspiring programming. May loving kindness and virtues continue to be revealed in your lives in divine eternal light.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.